to the next dimension.
Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from down under, and today I'm going to be talking about the perfect free-to-play game. In my opinion, what would be the perfect free-to-play game? If you took the elements of a couple free-to-play games at the moment, put them all together, how would that be, and how would that change the gaming market forever? Now, the gameplay you've seen is some Blacklight Retribution, which I'm going to base a lot of this commentary off, and I'm on the defending side, Siege. Pretty much we do very good. It comes right down to the wire. I'm not going to spoil the end, but it comes very, very, very close, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Now, pretty much, in my opinion, free-to-play games have never been perfect. There's always some corruption there. There's always something that doesn't make the game right. There's always something that makes it, just a step below complete greatness. For example, Combat Arms. That game was destined for success. It is a successful game, in my opinion, but the game is flawed. It is corrupted by Nexon's greed, by Nexon's will, just to go and get as much money as possible. Now, by saying that doesn't mean Combat Arms isn't a bad game. It's a fantastic game. I love Combat Arms, but there is many things in that game that makes it worse than it could have ever been. And if you go back to open beta, closed beta, early 2009, maybe 2010, when there was no specs, no really overpowered weapons, stuff like that, then that was the part of the game that made really good. That was the good part of Combat Arms, but now it's just being corrupted by all this NX stuff, and it's become a pay-to-win game. You pay money, and you will automatically be better than anybody that has a GP gun. Now, I know there's some exceptions like the G3060 and the TPG, but you can't just have two weapons that you can do really good with and just say, okay, the rest may be bad, but there's two weapons that are still good, that means the game is fair. Doesn't work like that, and really it's just not a fair game, in my opinion, at the moment. Now, Blacklight Retribution, it's one of those games where you can pay to get stuff, but in the end, you can be paying to get stuff, but you can still get it by working at it, by upgrading, by leveling up, stuff like that. By playing the game, you can get the exact same stuff as people that pay money do. Now, there's an exception to that people that pay money get it easier, but it still doesn't deteriorate from the fact that you can still get the same amount of stuff. There's no difference between real money stuff and in-game money stuff. Absolutely no difference, and that is very good, and that's one of the things I like. That's one of the main things I like in Blacklight Retribution, and that's why it's one of my most favorite free-to-play FPSs, just because there is that balance. There is no difference between what you pay for real money and what you pay in-game for just the GP, the coins, whatever you want to call it. There's absolutely no difference, and that's why it is so good. I have not paid any money in Blacklight Retribution. I've only bought the weapons that you can buy for GP, and you can buy GP permanent weapons. That is awesome. This submachine gun you see me use right here, I bought that for 5,000 GP. Now, that might take quite a while. It took me about maybe a week to go and rank up, get all the games, get all these points, but in the end, it's much better than me spending maybe $10, $15 like I would in Combat Arms to go and get a permanent weapon when I can go and get a permanent weapon right now in Blacklight Retribution. I just have to save up my GP and just spend it wisely, kind of thing, and that's really good. Now, the second one is a lack of hackers. Now, that's a thing that really depends on the game itself. Blacklight Retribution, there is no hackers. There might be a couple. I know there's a couple of VIP hacks out there, but it's not really obvious. But then you go in other games like Combat Arms and Wolf Team and stuff like that. They are really hacked the hell. They're really hacked the game. There's heaps of people running around. Combat Arms is reduced quite a lot. Nexon's been doing really good, and I'll talk about that later. But games like Wolf Team, Crossfire, and stuff like that, there's hackers everywhere. You go in every room, there's at least a couple of hackers going and shooting through walls, knifing, stuff like that. There's always someone ruining the game. Now, that links on, but the developer has to be dedicated to their game. They can't just say, okay, we made this game now, we can maybe, make a couple stuff, and in the end, just, let the game just go, racking the money, don't really put any effort into the game, like a lot of free-to-play companies do. But Blacklight Retribution, for one example, they completely are dedicated to this game. Combat Arms, for an example, they are dedicated to this game as well, even though people think next and like they just want the money. Which is true to an extent. They are still dedicated to the game. They still keep making maps. They still keep making modes. And in the end, they produce some very high quality content for our assault. Getting rid of all the hacks. They've put a really good effort in. And that's what a good free-to-play company does. Now, there's many other factors to making a free-to-play game. There's always factors when it comes to anything. But they're my two main ones. But one other I would really like to talk about is a good community. Now, that is not really based on the game itself. Most people would think it's not based on the game itself, but when you actually think about it, it is. If you have a bad game, then automatically the community is going to start to complain. The community is going to exploit all the stuff in the game, and in the end, it's not going to be very good for it. It's going to be a very bad experience. Combat Arms, for example, when people found out overpowered weapons, they completely just went and exploited every single thing about this overpowered weapons. The dual scorpions, for example, when they first came out and people found out they were so overpowered, they went and just bought it. Everyone's got a dual scorpion now. P90TR is another example. G3060 before patch, M416 CQB. Now I'm using lots of Combat Arms terms in the Blacklight Retribution video, but that is still a very important point. Blacklight Retribution has a lot of fair stuff. The only thing I don't like is prox mines, the hammer, and the heavy assault rifle. Everything else in the game is absolutely fine. I can beat it with just my SMG and revolver. I can beat people, that have bought stuff because I can buy it as well. In all, it is very fair. There is not many overpowered things in this game, but when you look at other games, you can buy your way to winning, and that's what makes the community bad. In my opinion, this has got a fantastic community. There's not many bad people in this game. There might be a couple bad, tomatoes, whatever you want to call them, around, bit of rotten tomatoes, but in the end, they do very good, and the game is fantastic. All in all, I want more games to be like Blacklight Retribution. Kind of just go off the basis of which they have set, because they are the AAA, they are the #1 free-to-play FPS, in my opinion. And all the other games should be looking at it and just saying, okay, these guys have set it up. They've got the dedicated servers, they've got all the fair weapons, they've got the community, they've got a dedicated company working on this game. And all in all, they've really set themselves up for success. If you guys did like the video, make sure you drop me a rating, always helps me out. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes, all the way from down under, out.